The watch I'll be talking about today is from a brand, Orient. And at the heart of it lies a name that feels both familiar and refreshingly new, Bambino. Through this channel, we've encountered countless timepieces. But the watches that tend to linger in memory the longest are often those that sit quietly on the wrist and simply tell time, with ease and comfort. The Bambino, I believe, is exactly that kind of watch. When I first became interested in watches, what initially caught my eye wasn't a complicated spec sheet or a prestigious logo. It was the clean, composed presence, the quiet elegance of this watch. Now, in 2024, the Bambino returns, more refined than ever. And this new model carries a rhythm that feels distinct from any Bambino that came before it. With a more compact 38mm case and the addition of a small seconds display, a feature typically reserved for traditional dress watches, this model brings together two elements that have never coexisted in the Bambino lineup. It feels like a subtle bridge between the past and the present. Orient, as many of you may know, was officially established in 1950. But its roots go much deeper, to a small watch wholesaler founded in 1901 in Tokyo, Japan. Today, Orient is part of the Seiko Epson Group, but it operates with its own independent philosophy and character, a brand that may not seek the spotlight, but steadily holds its ground with quiet confidence. And the Bambino is perhaps the most faithful expression of that identity. Despite its many generations and variations, at its core remains a single guiding principle: classic elegance. Now, that same classic spirit has returned, but with more precise proportions and quieter, more contemplative details. The new Bambino measures 38.4mm in diameter, 12mm thick, with a lug-to-lug of 44mm. On paper, these numbers might seem ordinary, but once on the wrist, this watch feels like a long-awaited perfect fit. Not too big, not too small. It tucks neatly under a dress shirt cuff, and when it does peek out, it offers just the right amount of presence. The front of the case is finished in high polish. It gently reflects light, shifting subtly with the movement of your wrist. The sides are brushed, adding balance and helping visually slim down the case profile. On top sits a domed mineral crystal. This curved glass softly diffuses light, evoking the warm charm of vintage film camera lenses. However, for those accustomed to the hardness of sapphire, this may feel like a step down. Mineral glass is more prone to scratches over time, and it certainly demands more delicate handling. The water resistance is rated at 30 meters, which is appropriate for a dress watch. But at the same time, it may not inspire full confidence in more unpredictable weather or during accidental splashes. You'll want to be mindful around water. The black dial version I'm reviewing here carries a soft, almost matte texture with a gentle sheen that shifts under light. Thanks to the domed crystal, there's a beautiful depth to the dial. Around the perimeter, a railroad-style minute track and subtle markers add structure and precision. Arabic numerals appear at 5-minute intervals, while Roman numerals and baton indices alternate around the hour markers. At 3 o'clock, a date window is neatly integrated, and at 6 o'clock, the small second sub-dial features a concentric pattern that draws the eye inward. Together, they balance the raised Orient logo at 12 o'clock, creating a clean visual symmetry. The hands are classic Dauphine style, refined and faceted. From straight on, they appear a soft silver, but under intense lighting, or when viewed from an angle, they reveal a quiet, transparent bluish hue. Especially on the small seconds hand, this subtle pop of color adds a touch of charm. Though, I should note, under strong lighting, the translucence of the blued hands can resemble plastic, which might slightly undercut the premium impression for some. The crown is of the push-pull type, with simple, intuitive operation, and supports hacking for precise time setting. Now, the leather strap. It's made of cowhide, embossed with an alligator pattern. Visually, it looks refined. But in practice, the strap feels stiff and doesn't naturally mold to the wrist, especially for those with slimmer wrists. The break-in period may be a little frustrating. Also, it lacks quick-release spring bars, which means strap changes require a tool. That said, it uses a standard 20mm lug width, making it easy to swap in a wide range of aftermarket straps. This watch, I would say, truly shines with some thoughtful strap experimentation. Turning the watch over, you'll find a see-through caseback displaying Orient's in-house caliber, F6222. This movement operates at 21,600 vibrations per hour, features hand winding and hacking, and offers a power reserve of around 40 hours. Accuracy is rated at -25 seconds to +25 seconds per day, which is quite respectable at this price point. Performance-wise, it's solid. But in terms of finishing, the movement is admittedly plain and industrial. There's minimal decoration, and the rotor is only partially skeletonized. For some, this might make the transparent caseback feel unnecessary. In fact, I would argue that a solid caseback with a slightly thinner profile could have given this watch an even more elegant impression. So, who is this watch for? For someone just beginning their watch journey, this might be your first memorable experience, a gentle introduction to mechanical timekeeping. And for seasoned collectors, this could serve as a quiet reminder of why we fell in love with watches in the first place. That said, it's not without its shortcomings. The mineral glass isn't the most durable. The water resistance, while understandable, is limiting. The movement finishing is quite basic. And the leather strap may not feel the most comfortable right out of the box. But even when you add all of those together, the philosophy, balance, and value that this watch delivers is rare, especially in today's market, where so much emphasis is placed on specs and brand hype. And considering that on the gray market, this watch can be found for around $150, I can't think of a better candidate to recommend first to anyone exploring affordable dress watches. This was The Time Traveler. Thank you, as always, for watching.